Hey peeps, welcome to NasTime. Welcome to another Mazda BT-50 build video. Today we're talking roof racks, in particular Tradesman Roof Racks and the Wedgetail. So why Tradesman? Well, I've had several racks from several different companies in the past, and Tradesman's about the only one that I haven't had any issues with. They're very well built, they're locally built in Australia, and you can really rely on the quality. Now, I've had the rack for a few days, which I paid for through Dirt Road 4x4. He organised for me to go down to Tradesman in Bayswater and get it all set up. Now, it was important for me to work directly with Tradesman because I had some specific requirements and I wanted to make sure it was all done properly. Now, my first impressions on the roof rack was it was actually a little bit wider than I expected, and that probably came down to my measuring actually. But you know what, I've actually been living with it for a couple of days, and the width has actually grown on me, so I'm actually glad that I did. So once I fit my awning and all that on there, it just gives me that little bit of clearance better for the windows which pop up, and I think it's going to work a lot better. And for me, it's actually starting to grow on me, the look of it as well. And you know, I was looking for kind of finer lines and trying to keep it a bit sleek, but I think it kind of gives it a little bit more of an aggressive look. So, you know, looks good to me, but I'll let you decide. You can let me know what you think. Now, as for the length, I've actually gone with 1.8 meters. Now, that was important to me because I don't carry a lot of heavy stuff, but I do carry a bit of bulky stuff. Like, I want to put a solar panel on it and I want to put my Maxtrax on it, and that really doesn't give you a lot of space on a smaller rack. So I wanted to actually make up as much space as I can, and working with Maxliner, they actually have a backbone system and it takes the 1.5 rack quite comfortably. But just given that little bit of extra length that I wanted, I decided to work with Tradesman, and they designed and came up with a new backbone system that actually gives you a lot more support over that front length. So what's really important too, and it's definitely important for me, you've seen some recent stuff on across YouTube and all that, and you know, roof racks coming off cars and that sort of stuff. When you go off-road, you're really putting them through you know, the ringer. But for me, what this means is they've actually done a lot of testing. They've basically got this big box that sits on top of the roof rack, and that's what they use to test and simulate going around corners, braking suddenly, and that sort of stuff with excessive weight on it. So they've really put this through the ringer and given it a lot of testing to make sure that in the future they've got a reliable and you know, safe roof rack to go out on the market. Now, this system will fit a lot of the other canopies as well. And you'll notice on this canopy in particular, because it's actually got some straight lines, you know, it was important to me too that it's sat pretty level and stuff. You look at a lot of the other roof racks and they're kind of higher mounted at the back, and I didn't want anything kind of sitting, you know, at the wrong angles and stuff. So really happy with Tradesman, and they made sure that, you know, it fitted perfectly, it was safe, and it looked really good. Now, some of the other features as well heading into this roof rack is, you'll notice that the bars, there's quite a bit of gap between compared to some of the other racks. Now, for me, that's important because I just hate dirty roofs. I had my Challenger, which my roof just got filthy and disgusting, and it really bothered the fact that I couldn't clean it properly. So this is you know, going to make sure that I can keep it nice and clean on top, and I can access it, and it makes it a lot easier when you're tying stuff up and that as well. And you can actually, if you're worried about the gaps in some instances, you can actually get a rack that fits over the top as well. It's like a mesh board that sits on top to give you a wider surface to, you know, for packing wood and things like that. But like I said, for me, a lot of it's going to come down to you know, large panels and larger items that I'm throwing on there anyway, so it's not going to cause any problems. Also, with the backbone system, I actually like the design of it, and it sits quite nicely, as you can see, over the roof there as well. Now, with the Maxliner system, I actually really like the look of the low profile roof rack, but it's really hard to get your hand underneath as well. So if you're adding any accessories or anything like that, it makes it quite hard. So for me, I just find this system a lot more practical. And you know what, it looks really good as well. Like I said, you know, initially it kind of took a little bit of getting used to because, well, quite frankly, I wasn't used to having a roof rack on my car, but you know, looking at it for the last couple of days, I'm just liking it more and more. So I've been really happy with it. The guys at Tradesman have been fantastic. Trevor always looks after me on price and does the right thing by me, and you know, the service and quality I just can't complain about. So honestly guys, if you're looking for a rack and something similar to this, it's another option. Australian made, locally made, and you know, local support in that as well. And like I said, if you're a little bit like me and you know, want to err on the side of safety, it's a really good idea to make sure that you know, you can have those conversations with the manufacturers and make sure that what you're getting is actually going to be what you need, and you know, you're not going to cause any problems for yourself down the track. There you go peeps, Wedgetail roof rack fully loaded. I've been able to fit everything on there that I wanted. I've got the shower, I've got the solar panel, I've got the 270 awning, I've got my Maxtrax, and I've got a shovel. And you know, it fits and works really nicely. The mounting accessories offered by Wedgetail are really good, high quality stuff and really adaptable. And you know, working with channel nuts and the channels there just makes you know, adding anything really easy. You can see on the shower here, I've actually used the Wedgetail mounts. They just sit a little bit nicer because there is a little bit of a lip around the edge of the roof rack, so they sit a little bit nicer. Now you can get some spaces if you wanted to use the ones that come with it, but to be honest, these sit a lot nicer and look a lot nicer, and quite a bit stronger as well. So with all the touring and rough tracks that I do, I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm never going to have any issues. I've been able to use the Yakima mounts for the shovel as well. They've been working really well for the last few years, and get almost no movement with that. And you know, I'm sitting at a different spot this time. I always had it sitting on the side of the roof rack, but this time it sits on top. It sits quite nicely and fits quite nicely. The Maxtrax, I've used the mount I got from Wedgetail roof racks. They sit really nice and they work really nice. Heaps of different adjustment points. So and with the Maxtrax pins, they just work absolutely perfectly, and I couldn't ask for better. With the solar panel, I've actually purchased a couple of mounting brackets from Wedgetail as well, and I just wanted to make sure I had full support. You probably could have gotten away with a couple, but in all honesty, it's not a big solar panel. It's I think it's about 100, 110 watt or amps or whatever it is, but I just wanted to make sure that there was never going to be any problems, any movement or anything like that, and it sits really nice and secure. Now with the 270 awning, I've got the Osprey from 23.0 as opposed to the Falcon. The Falcon opens up on both sides, front and back. This one just opens up around the back. It's a tad lighter. I didn't need that extra space at the front, and it works for me quite well. And I've been able to use the brackets provided by 23.0 because they actually work quite well with this roof rack. They allow for the lip quite nicely, unless you're turning it over, of course. In that case, you'd probably use the spacers, but they're heavy duty mounts there, and you know, just a couple there that plenty to hold. It's about 18 kilos or something, this one. So, and it just fits really nicely, as you can see. So I'm really stoked with this roof rack. I've had it on the car for a couple of weeks now, been on highways, freeways, that sort of stuff. Makes absolutely no noise. I'm really confident in the ability to hold all this gear and not cause any problems down the track, and that's really important to me. Now if I ever want to take this stuff off and put a bit of a load on it, not going to be an issue either, because it's been tested and rated to 100 kilos at the least. So you know, I'm really happy with it all. So big thanks to Dirt Road 4x4, big thanks to Tradesman Roof Racks for all their support and working with me to make sure that this fits and you know, and is secure as well. So there you go guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is just a part of what I do. I do a lot of forward driving, a lot of trips, lots of tips, that sort of stuff. If you're into adventure, like, subscribe guys, really supports the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys.